Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
The question is about the cropping system. It was asked in 2017 and it is a 15-mark question, 250 words question. What are the major reasons for declining rice and wheat yield in the cropping system? Question mark. How crop diversification is helpful to stabilize the yield of the crops in the system? Simple question. First of all, it is a WH question. WH type question, which is the easy one. So the first part of the question is saying about the what are the major reasons for declining the rice and wheat yield. Next, how crop diversification is helpful to stabilize the yield of the crop. So you need to find the keyword of this question. There comes the major part about the mains question addressing. So first you have to find the keywords. So here the keyword is declining in the rice and wheat yield in the cropping system. How crop diversification is helpful in stabilize the yield. So the yield is the keyword. So that is the major things about this question. So they are speaking about the yield factor. So you have to know about what is yield. So yield is nothing but the productivity of the land. For example, I am producing a crop with this much of quantity of fertilizers and water of around, consider that 1 quintal of rice. Next year with the same quantity of fertilizers and water, I am not able to produce the same amount what I was produced in the last year. So which means the yield is decreasing. So yield is nothing but the productivity of the land, or how much I am producing with the same amount of input. That is called as yield. The question, so your intro should be related to what is yield. That is the best part of this question. So if you are going to speak about the yield in the intro part, means that is a good one, because in both of the sub questions they only spoke about the what is yield. The factor is related to the yield factor. So you have to answer the question with the intro of yield. What is yield? Next thing. Next is, or else you can speak about the cropping system. You can also speak about what is cropping system, or else you can speak about the rice and wheat production in India. How much India is producing a rice? If you know the exact data, you can quote it. Or else you can say about the ranking. In global level, rice production of India's rank and also wheat production of India's rank. That is also you can quote. Okay. So these are the three various intro you can use. But the best thing is you can say about what is yield. That is more than enough. So the intro part should be about these things. What can be the conclusion? That is also we need to discuss here itself. Conclusion. You can conclude this thing with this speaking about the yield. So we can say that with the use of crop diversification, we can be the largest producer with a small usage of the land use efficiency. So you can speak about the land use efficiency in the conclusion of the question of this question, because this speak about the question is all about the yield factor. So you can say about the land use efficiency. By doing the crop diversification, India can increases the efficiency, increases the land use efficiency. By the way, also you can conclude it. Or else we can say about the measures that are taken by the government to improve the yield factor. So we introduce the soil health card, and also we are providing the neem coated urea. So by the way, we are trying to overcome the issues of the diversification of fertilizers from the agriculture to other sectors. So all these measures you can see, whatever measures you can see. So by the way, you need to conclude this question. Next, the major thing is about the body of this answer. There are two questions, so you have to address the two questions separately, and also it is a 15-mark question, means for intro 1 mark and conclusion 1 mark, and the body of the answer means it is around 12 marks or 13 marks. So you have to split it, 6 mark or 7 marks. In the way you have to split it and answer it. So for example, it is a 7 mark, means you have to give at least 7 to 8 points. Okay, so that is the thing you have to do in your exam, because you have to think about what are the possible marks they will place for the every questions. You have to think it and then you have to go for an answer. That is also the major thing. So what are the major reasons for declining rice and wheat yield in the cropping system? So the reason is, first, before going into all this reason, the major reason is the government policy. The government policy of providing MSP for the rice and wheat, that is very high when comparing to all other crops. So that leads to the continuous cultivation of this rice and wheat in their field, that leads to the soil degradation, nutrient deficiency. So all these things are leading to the issue of the reduction in the yield. So before speaking anything, you have to find the main reason, the main culprit. Here the issue is with the MSP, the government policy. Government is providing high MSP for the rice and wheat. That led the farmer to cultivate the rice and wheat again and again in their land. And also, when it comes to the PDA shops, ration shops, government majorly prepared this rice and wheat. So the farmer had a thought of, if I am going to cultivate rice and wheat, definitely government is going to procure my produce. So why I need to shift to another crop? So in that sense, they are using more fertilizers and pesticides and using the land water and the groundwater to cultivate the rice and wheat. So it is affecting the groundwater and also it is affecting the soil nutrient. So what the farmer is actually doing is, they are not leaving the land fallow. So that lead to the continuous use of the land, that is in turn it is giving us the issue of the overuse of the land. So there is nothing a possibility for the reuse of the fertilizers. Okay, so there is a issue of the farmer is not leaving the land fallow, means that leads to the continuous usage of the land, which leads to the depletions of the nutrients in that soil. So this is the major issue. For example, when it comes to Punjab and Haryana, they are the highest fertilizer user in this world. To cultivate the land, to cultivate the single hectare of land, they are using the highest fertilizer. So that is the major issue. The reason is indirectly connected to the government policy of MSP. So that lead to the issue of soil degradation and also nutrient deficiency. So these things are affecting the yield of that crop, rice and wheat. Even though India is the surplus producer of the rice and wheat, we are affecting in future there may be the issue with this yield factor. See, all these things are the outcome of the green revolution. But the green revolution have the certain negative things, that is the use of these fertilizers. So that is the major concern when it comes to the green revolution. So soil degradation, nutrient deficiency, and also the issue of climate change. That is also the reason for the loss of the moisture in the soil. So that lead to the reduction in the yield of that crop. And also climate change increases the resilience of the pest and also the insects to survive in various climates. So by the way, there is an issue of the pest and disease outbreak. So for example, due to the climate change, there is a increases in the temperature. Actually, it is a cycle of thing. Global warming leads to the climate change. The climate change again increases the global warming. So that is the cycle is happening here. In that scenario, due to the high temperature, there is a huge evaporation. So the humidity is increasing. If the humidity is increasing means that will be helpful for the spread of the diseases and the insects, and also spread of the pest. So all the things are happening are related to this climate change. So pest and the disease outbreak. Next is it is affecting the water use efficiency, and also the major issue is lack of adoption of technology. For example, we are still doing the normal irrigation method. We are not following any micro irrigation tactics like drip irrigation or sprinkle irrigations. That thing we are not doing that. So due to that, we are using more water that lead to the leaching of the soil. Leaching means the nutrient flowing into the soil. So which is not easy to connect to the root. The nutrient is not grabbed by the root of the plant. So that is the issue. But when it comes to the drip irrigation, it can be easily overcome. But we are not using the technologies. So that is the major concern. So all these things lead to the reduction in the yield of the rice and wheat. Next, the next part of the question is how crop diversification is helpful to destabilize the yield. Obviously, if there is a crop diversification, for example, consider that in one season you are cultivating the rice, and the next season you are cultivating any leguminous crops like any pulses. So in that way, it will be do the thing called as nitrogen fixation in the soil. By the way, it will increases the nitrogens in that soil. That will be helpful for the next time you are cultivating the rice. So you can easily reduces the usage of the fertilizer. So by the way, the soil degradations won't happen. So the crop diversification is most important thing when it comes to the yield of the any crops. So we need to do the crop diversification. And also, if you are continuously cultivating the rice in your field means the rice may use certain specific chemical nutrients of your soil means it won't be continuously used. So that nutrient will be get depleted, all other nutrient will be surplus in your soil. So that affect the soil nutrient cycle, and also it will lead to the flow of the nutrient from your soil. So these are the major concerns of the monocropping. So by the way, we can overcome this issue by crop diversification. So crop diversification improves the soil health, increases the biodiversity, and control the pest and disease. And also next is okay, you have to know that how it is going to control the disease and the pest attack. How it is going to happen is, if you are continuously cultivating the rice in your field and you are continuously using the same pesticides, first time the pest will be get affected by that and they may die. Next time period it may get evolved. It is trying to evolve to manage this toxic element that given by that pesticide. So another time if you are continuously doing that, it will be evolved and it will be that pesticides won't be toxic for that pest. So that is the issue of this monocropping. In reality, it is the issue of this monocropping. So if you are going to crop diversify means it can be easily overcome. Next, improve the market access for all other crops means that is also going to help and enhances the resilience. Okay. So in this way you have to address the question. So more than that, these answers I gave a certain answers about the green revolution and also issue of the MSB. So you can note all these things in your notes and try to reproduce in any question that will be asking or related to that question. Okay, thank you.